Did I figure it out how to use technology without causing everything to burst into flames? How does this go? Does technology work now? Hello? Hi. How's life? Give me a minute. Okay, so I think I got this to work properly. I think. Let's check the options here. Yep, that's good. Oh no, that's not good. There we go. So, I am testing out, for the first time in my entire adult life, a dual monitor setup, and so far, getting it to cooperate with OBS has been a complete dumpster fire. Just a complete and total dumpster fire. Now, I'm not the most technologically savvy person in the world, but boy howdy, there's gotta be a better way. Anyways, here we are, playing episode 2 of my Heart of the Forest playthrough. Werewolf the Apocalypse, Heart of the Forest, my quest to find out if this obscure indie visual novel is better than the widely panned piece of shit, spoilers, third-person action game that they made. Again, I think that this thing will probably be better. But again, on one hand, you've got this very quickly made, I shouldn't say that, cheaply made, no, that's even disrespectful to this, workman-like visual novel from a very small developer. We'll notice that when we click the credits when we are done. Anyways, our first impressions of this game last time, ooh, this is a little loud. Let's go back to the original volume game. Okay. So, our first impression of this thing was, I wouldn't say poor. It was one of tentative disappointment, and only, I say this only because the Vampire the Masquerade visual novel set a very high bar for what I was expecting out of this thing. And even though the Vampire the Masquerade visual novels were not the best, they were still better than a lot of visual novels I've played that are meant to be promotional tie-ins of bigger and technically better, in quotations on that one, things. And so far, we are clearly a werewolf that's up to werewolf and things, even though everyone's all like, we don't want to talk about your progeny because you be werewolf people. And we've, instead of being embraced into our fellow werewolf kind, been tapped to be a protester of some sort of bullshit. God, how do I even explain this? Some sort of weird eco-terrorist group to prevent logging companies from cutting down ancient forest. And that's just, you know, I care for the environment most of the time, but boy, howdy, this thing is just a lot less enthusing of my sensibilities than most of the things that we've done for this visual novel special on every Thursdays. Every Thursdays, I play a different visual novel. We have visual novel Thursdays, random game Fridays, and Saturday or Sunday is usually Grandia 2, or some sort of bullshit JRPG that my game group has forced me to play. But we're very clearly a werewolf. We are very clearly a werewolf. It's just this game is taking its sweet ass time to, like, get us there. Okay, so I forget where we were. I think it was, like, somewhere between chapter 3 and 4. There are, I think, 6 chapters in total, with an epilogue to boot. We are a bard, if I seem to recall correctly, so let's continue. Ah, yes, chapter 3. Okay, standoff. Right. And for those that are tuning in here instead of when I would be normally starting, I do voice act the lines here. If you find that annoying, then find a commentary-less playthrough. Oh boy, this art. I need to talk. Oh wait, that's the chapter subtitle. I couldn't get back to sleep. Since I'd arrived in this accursed village, things had been getting stranger and stranger with every passing hour, and now I ripped a pillow in half in my sleep. Nothing about it was normal. I needed to talk it over with someone I trusted. I forget who these characters were. I'm gonna go with Anya because I think Olga's just a normie. She's a very normie McNormie norm. So Anya was in it from the start. She's, I think, a fellow werewolf kind. So let's go to Anya. I'd come here with Anya. Oh, no, wait, she's the normie. Shit! I fucked it up. I'd come here with Anya, and despite all these strange things I'd done, she still stuck with me. I massaged her, and she massaged me back. I'm on a walk. Oh, that is messaged. I messaged her, and she messaged me back. I'm on a walk. Come join me. The sun had just set, and the moon wasn't up yet. I started walking. The forest loomed on the horizon. The activists' camp was somewhere there. We met near the shop in Białowieża. I don't speak Polish. I can't. I don't know how to pronounce any of these names. I'm really sorry if that's offensive. It was a characteristic enough point, and easy to get from anywhere in town. What is it? Anya asked. She looked worried. Something strange was happening to me. Something strange was happening here. I don't think we level it in on her real thick. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of ease her into, yo, I'm a werewolf. And that's a problem for you, and it's a problem for me. I don't think there's... Don't you think there's something really strange happening here with all the people in the forest? It's driving me mad. There is something strange happening, she nodded, but I have no idea what it is. I know even less than you, she frowned. Maybe we should go to your new friends, the activists. She smiled a little, they are weird. They must know something. I'm not gonna get high on here. Also, so for those of you that still have not picked on this, Werewolf the Apocalypse is a part of a tabletop franchise known as the World of Darkness. This is a tabletop franchise formerly produced by White Wolf Publishing, which also includes the likes of Vampire the Masquerade and the lesser-known Mage the Ascension. There's a mummy one, there's Wraith, and then there's a fairy one. I think that's all of them. I might be missing them. But anyways, so these are our skill checks, and depending on the symbol that's next to them, this is a choice because of our current stats. And I believe that most of these that have these symbols, much like the tabletop series Werewolf and Vampire, this will use one of our stats up here. So it's kind of a press your luck formula. It's very different than the skill checks in Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder, but I personally prefer it because I like the press your luck element of it, and I also like not rolling for things that I would just like to know the answer to. So I'm going to skip this one, just learning more about her and possibly influencing her, you know, overall alignment with me. So right here you can see we min-maxed our bard. We're a little bit brave. We're a little analytical. We're a little spiritual, but we immediately basically put everything into charisma. So that was a mistake, maybe. And as you can see here, we have all of these people and their relationships. So Anya, Olga, police don't like me, but fuck the police. And this one, family, it's complicated. That's basically our progress with the story. So let's go ahead and say it was an option. I'm not going to use a skill check for something as simple as that. I mean, they sure know things, but I'm not sure if I trust them. You know what they say, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. She smiled and started walking. Let's go. I'm sure they're not sleeping. We went to the activist camp. Okay, so again, there's some sort of logging camp. They're trying to cut down trees in an ancient forest. These people who are very clearly werewolves don't want that because I think they live there or they worship some sort of, you know, ancient god that resides there. I don't know. I don't play werewolf. I play vampire and mage. I tried playing Wraith, but it was bad. And I've been begging Paradox with their constant reboots to, like, try and reboot Mage the Ascension, but for whatever reason, there's no response. It's almost like it's the weird third one that was really popular for a bit, but then, you know, it was super complicated to play. God. If you guys think that, like, the World of Darkness character sheets are really hard to understand, or even Pathfinder 2nd, you assholes who think Pathfinder 2nd Edition is hard, let me show you the old... Oh, man. I will show you what the original Mage the Ascension character sheet looked like. Then we can talk. Then we can talk. Okay, all together now. The camp had a different vibe than the logging site protest. There were more people there. We looked around, trying to take it all in. They're coming. And coming. Anya laughed, excited. The people in the camp seemed quite cheerful. Boy. Yeah, let's be observant and say someone was singing. There's a little bit of a leitmotif that someone's singing a song that seems to be a recurring theme here. And we have so far been rewarded for pointing out that motif. So let's see. I heard 3 or 4 girls singing together in a unique Eastern European style called the White Voice. It was the most melodic, throaty growl I'd ever heard. Ah, shit. Okay, I'm going to lose some rage, but rage is usually easy to gain back. But let's go ahead and do this because I don't really have a choice. Hello, Hadouken Z. I stopped and just got lost in the music for a long while. People were milling about, setting up camp, cooking, preparing posters. Everyone was busy. I looked around. I definitely needed to talk to someone about what was going on and what I felt. Okay, I don't know what it means by Cornell. Oh, balance means that I'm not at max. Thank you for the subscription, Hadouken Z. Is that pizza? What sort of bad Final Fantasy nonsense are you playing? Did you finish 13? Okay, I needed to see Cornell. Hello, I said as I approached. Cornell smiled at me. Hello, he said. What brings you here? I'm confused as fuck, dude. I appear to be transforming into a werewolf, and I need answers. I'm confused, I answered. Is it really true, I mean? All the stories I've heard connecting me and the forest? Connor looked at me with those uncanny grey eyes. I could feel his attention locked on me. Yes, it's true, he said, and that's why we're here. To stop the government destroying the forest, to show that we don't agree and that we hope to make a difference, and you have your role to play. So, in a game... Oh, God. In a game about finding your roots as a werewolf, this game continues to take, like, the whole part of character creation in Werewolf the Apocalypse, doubles down on that part, and made an entire game about, like, just the... It would be if... Oh, God... Like, D&D, like, figuring out your alignment is the only part of the game. Like, we've only been like, hey, you got a bad backstory, girl. Boy, howdy, it's super complicated. Oh, God. It is very interesting, except it is very, very slow. Also, I think I need to lower the game audio a little bit more. Give me a minute here. Okay. It's much more meditative than... the vampire visual novels. Okay. Will it work, I asked? I don't know. All I know is that it worked before. It worked for Gandhi. It worked with segregation and apartheid in the end. It worked with communism, so let's see if it works with capitalism as well. Violence is not an option here. He smiled. And I think you know quite well that anger doesn't really get shit done. You like the art? I like it when this art gets super, super abstract and really, really bizarre. And we've seen some of that, but I agree that I like how this art... I don't know if I like it as much as peak Vampire the Masquerade Shadows of New York, because I feel like that struck a real nice balance of, like, picturesque visuals and minor animations, but this was a choice, and I certainly like the way that they're displaying the text. I also like this interface a lot more. There are parts about this that I definitely like a lot more than the Vampire the Masquerade stuff, especially, you know, Vampire the Masquerade not showing those Vampire the Masquerade visual novels not showing the entire text box in one chunk. That pissed me off, and it still pisses me off. Boy, what are we gonna go with here? Okay, well, we're gonna agree with him because we want to get this extra point of his loyalty. It would be nice to get this rage back, but let's actually go with it. I think it's going to increase his opinion of us. Okay. I smiled back. Somehow being around him made me feel more relaxed. I know you can count on me, I answered. I had a family debt to pay, and I couldn't be just an observer anymore. So we may have a little citizen protest going on tonight, Cornell said, but I'll need your support if we want to convince the others. Okay. The tipping point. They all wanted to do something that night, but after a whole day's discussion, they were still divided on what to do. 3 for one option, 3 for the other. I had the deciding vote. So we can either do another violent protest, siding with Olga, or we can decide to side with Cornell's plan. So we actually ended up siding with Olga the first time. Give me a minute. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Never played Vampire the Masquerade. I think the newest one is having problems. Do you mean the tabletop games, or do you mean, like, Bloodlines 2? Because I'm literally going to write a blog in which I speculate about why that game is cursed. Because Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition, the tabletop game, finally got there. It finally got there. Bloodlines 2 is definitely, yeah, that game is, boy, there's a lot to say about why Bloodlines 2 was completely screwed. The least of which is everything that could have gone wrong went wrong for that poor development studio. First, they were like, okay, we're going to make this Masquerade team. We're going to bring back all the people who were a part of Bloodlines 1. And you know what? We're going to get a nice, good, solid writer. Who's that writer going to be? Let's get Chris Avallone. And they got Chris Avallone, and within like a couple of months of having him on the project, like 3 women came forward to admit that he had sexually assaulted them throughout his career, or sexually assaulted them. And so Chris Avallone needed to be fired real quick. Then after that, they brought in Kara Ellison. And then after that, 5th Edition was released, and that was a goddamn disaster. So Paradox had to shut down White Wolf, and then they brought all of the Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf projects back into Paradox, like the studio that makes Hearts of Iron and Hearts of Iron, Europa Universalis, Crusader Kings, that studio. So they had to bring everything back into internal. And then, you know, the new producer in charge of this realized that Heartsuit basically was given carte blanche creatively, and that wasn't going to fly anymore. And so they were like, okay, bring all of your writers. We need to hash this out. The writers revolted. They left the project. Kara Ellison and other creators left. And then basically Paradox said, okay, we're going to fire Heartsuit Labs, get a new developer, reboot this entire project. And I think Heartsuit basically laid off almost all their staff because that contract was keeping them alive. But the good news is that we have some really cool Vampire the Masquerade visual novels that are out and kind of interesting. Some are better than others. But that's in a nutshell, you know, why Bloodlines 2 has had issues. It really comes down to White Wolf Publishing. The creators of Vampire the Masquerade Tabletop were super shitty. They had to shut down the entire publishing house, bring it into Paradox Internal, and they reassessed the projects that White Wolf Publishing made for like their video game division and realized that basically there was nothing reining in the creative output to like put things on a reasonable schedule, and yep, shit got canceled. A lot of shit got canceled. Okay, let's go with Cornell's plan, peaceful protest. Cornell is now friendly. So the benefit of doing that is Cornell is friendly, but I believe Olga is still okay with us. Yeah, So we're furthering down a relationship without the cost of another one. Although I do think that we will be forced to pick between the two of them. I think just diversifying and not hardlining one is a definite good idea here. A little help from my friends. I voted for the peaceful protest, and soon we were on our way to the National Park headquarters and education center. We had some banners to install. We're going to allow Anya to tag along, our good friend and loyal friend from the start. This is so exciting, Anya whispered. I've never done anything so illegal. Soon we were there. As we were on our way, I realized that, in reality, my methods were much more peaceful than my words had been. I shrugged. You live and you learn. The National Park headquarters were located in something called Palace Park. The name was historical. The name, like everything in Poland, was historical. Centuries ago, some king had his hunting lodge here, but now it was a mishmash of old and new buildings scattered around the park. Some were rough and bulky, made of stone and brick, while others were an extravaganza of wood porches, lace-like shutters, and meticulously sculpted pillars. There was no one around, but the area was well lit. It was exhilarating. Let's go with that. Finally, a big, shameless gesture. I thought looking at the huge silhouette of the... Finally, a big, shameless gesture. I thought looking at the huge silhouette of the headquarters. That's an awkward sentence. Hey, chat, do we think that's an awkward sentence? I think that's an awkward sentence. That seems like an awkward sentence. Okay. I felt alive. We got our rage back. My heart was thumping in my chest, and I was grinning from ear to ear. I felt alive and reckless. Suddenly, I remembered the church located just next to the Palace Park gate. I could feel its dark silhouette looming in the darkness, waiting. We were ready. Let's say we're ready. They'd spent the whole day painting the sign on a length of material sewn together from what looked like old sheets that were various shades of grayish white. The dark green letters declared, "Wood is the enemy of the forest." What do we hang it? Asked Daniel, who'd come equipped with climbing gear. Thank you, by the way. I would do normal voices, but everyone's Polish and Russian, and I don't have a good Polish or Russian accent. I don't know what I want to do here. I guess... He clearly needed inspiration. You've got climbing gear, dude. Go on the thing and hang the shit. So he clearly needed inspiration. He looked like he needed some inspiration. These drain pipes look handy, I said, pointing at the wall. I think it's almost exactly the length of our sign between them. It doesn't matter, Olga said, because hanging the banner is a waste of time. The tone of her voice was challenging, and maybe I took the remark too personally. I let her talk. So Olga wants to take the violent route. She is a more impulsive and violent werewolf. The game is keeping it secret that they're werewolves, but they're totally werewolves. Olga looked at me as though she expected me to say something, but I didn't take the bait. It's a great banner, and I'm sure it will look good on the pictures published by a number of independent political blogs. She looked at Cornell, but it's stuck so deep into the overeducated ecological dispute that people won't get it, and the loggers won't care. While Cornell was looking for an answer, I nudged Daniel, and we got back to work. Less Russian is a Polish accent? I don't know. I guess maybe? I started commanding him. I'm not going to waste willpower on this. This seems like some sort of... This seems like some sort of, like, dessert side business where it's probably best for me to just keep this for later checks that are important. I kept commanding him. Go right under that cable. I started shooting instructions at Daniel. For fuck's sake, it's a fire hazard. Who hangs a wire like that? Anyway, climb on the roof from the front, and I'll take the back. It'll be a walk in the park. Finally, we pulled the banner up. It's an important message. Anya looked up with fire in her eyes. The world must know. I looked at the sign flying high over the park. I was proud of our work. When we finished, Cornell gathered us together. I was proud of what we'd accomplished, and I contributed to that. Progression, goal, mission. Whatever my family had done, I was starting to pay back the debt. Cornell reached for his bicycle. Also, it turns out that our father was some sort of bad werewolf, and he did some bad news in this town, and our family is cursed, and we have to pay the debt by helping the other werewolves protect this forest. It's complicated. Let's go for a trip, he said, to remind ourselves what we're trying to protect. Gunshots in the woods. Puszka is neutral. Okay, Puszka is the forest. Based off of how effective our actions are at protecting it, we gain favor from the forest. And if we do a real bad job, the forest will just kill us. The night forest was cold and indifferent as we cycled through it. It didn't care about our actions, and it didn't notice our bicycle or our quarrels. Cornell led us to a clearing surrounded by boulders placed in a circle. There was a precision in their placement that made me think of a spider web. I wondered for a second if we were flies or spider. What was this place? There was something eerie about the place. I cleared my mind and inhaled. All the hair on my hands stood on end, and I felt hot energy running in my veins. Not sure why it's pronounced stewed, but hey, that's there. When in doubt, always pick the last option. That's generally speaking how I play, like, BioWare games, so I wondered if anyone else felt it as well. Do you guys feel that? I looked at my companions, but before anyone could answer, a loud sound tore through the silence. It was a gunshot. A gunshot. Anya gasped, looking around, wide-eyed and terrified. The others tensed up, but they didn't look concerned, just confused. "Who's there?" Cornell shouted. There was a rustle, and I saw a bunch of men in camo, each of them with a rifle, coming towards us between the trees. What were they doing here? Let's just assess this situation before we do anything violent. What the fuck? What are you doing here? I yelled, moving forward. Their leader weighed us up for a moment and finally focused on Cornell. This area is closed for the night, the huntsman said in Polish. There was contempt in his voice. There's a hunt going on, and y'all are trespassing. We have police officers here, so I would go home if I were you, unless you want to get arrested. He was a man used to being listened to, and he tried to sound self-assured, but it takes one to know one, and I know he was nervous. Let's call him a bastard. Let's call him a bastard. Let's have some fun. We've been peaceful so far. Let's call him a bastard. A hunt? You bastards, you complete piece of shit, I yelled. Olga smiled at me and then launched toward them. The clearing shattered like a broken window into sharp pieces, its edges cut clean by the rays of a flashlight swirling in the darkness. One piece, a shout, another, a silhouette leaping, a dodge, a grunt, a punch, a cry. curses in 3 different languages. My mind was crystal clear as I jumped from one piece to another. I body slammed into one of the men, and he stumbled. Let's go full beast mode. Let's roar. Full beast mode. Full beast mode. Full beast mode. Beast mode. Beast mode. I threw my head back, looked at the sky, and roared the way I'm sure he'd never heard any girl roar. Oh, I don't know about that. You're making some assumptions, girl. You're making some real big assumptions on that one. I'd never heard any girl roar like that. He jumped back rapidly, lost his balance, and fell to the ground with a loud thud. A flashlight shone his way. Anya screamed and grabbed my arm. I saw blood, blood on his head, blood on the stone, next to his head, blood on the ground, dark and fresh. Oh, we killed the dude. Cool. All right. So we killed a guy. Oops, shit. That seems bad. That seems bad. That we killed a dude. I'm guessing doubling down is just gonna make the situation worse. So, let's try to move this from first-degree murder to second-degree or third-degree murder. It wasn't my fault. He had a gun. My heart sunk. What had I done? I took a step back. Then I heard a shout. She killed him! One of the men shouted, the horror clear in his voice. He directed his flashlight at my face, blinding me. Yeah, that sure is a thing that I did. Yeah, hey, arbitrary. I killed a guy while being an eco-terrorist. I even sided with the pro-Gandhi, peaceful protest dude. And I just straight up murdered a dude. I murdered a dude. A man has been murdered because of me. Generally speaking, going with this stuff has really done me solid. I used a rage point to try and blame it on someone else, and that didn't work. I covered my eyes. I covered my eyes because I couldn't see a thing and quickly assessed the situation. A second later, I noticed a huge silhouette behind me. It looked at me and its eyes were glowing. "Leave her alone," it growled. I recognized the voice. Oh, wow. The eco-terrorists are actually fucking werewolves. Hey, guys. I mean, everyone. Turns out these eco-terrorists that want to protect the forest are actually werewolves. You know, something that this game has spent about 2 years foreshadowing and building up. Yeah, it turns out they're werewolves. Not 2 years, 2 hours. Fuck. It was Cornell. He was bulging, muscles growing bigger, bones getting longer. He let out a joyous roar, throwing his hands, now equipped with strong claws, in the air. He grabbed the man and slashed across his torso. What was happening? How could it be real? Why wasn't I scared? So what we're learning is you shouldn't go hunting in a forest populated by werewolves. Unless you've got silver bullets, right? I'm not gonna attack. I'm not gonna attack Cornell. What the fuck? No, hell no. Absolutely not. I'm gonna turn and run. I'm gonna turn and run. A guy transforms into a werewolf. I think the logical thing is to run away. And also, the other guy has a gun. I'm guessing audio is okay, by the way. I forgot to ask. I'm gonna run away. I'm gonna run away. I'm gonna run away. Okay, sorry, I actually been skipping a lot of stuff. Something war landed on my face, more blood, howls, terrified screams. Anya looked at me, panicked. What do we do? The man screamed again and pointed a gun at Cornell. I turned toward the forest and started to run. This was all too much. I looked back. A gunshot tore through the night. And then there was only pain. Yeah, shit, I got shot. Did I get shot? Oh, shit. The pain was unbearable. Nothing in my life had prepared me for this. Wow. You all hear that? Did you all hear the sound of someone getting shot and attempting to rip the bullet out from their body? That sure was a sound effect. Wow. Holy shit. What the fuck was that? Okay, so, I guess I'm gonna say I wasn't ready to go. Some sort of emotional plea to logic. I wasn't ready to go. I wasn't ready to go. Game could be a little higher. Okay. But I'm okay. Give me a minute. You wanted to hear all of the gory details. I wasn't ready to go. I screamed defiance to the forest, blinded by the blood in my eyes and the searing pain in my shoulder and chest. I knew death was coming for me, but I wasn't ready. The forest didn't care. I'm gonna die. Hey guys, I'm gonna die. The story had just begun. I didn't want it to end. The forest caught my fall with a bed of moss and twigs. I stopped thrashing, and a cold numbness engulfed me. Hell no, I'm gonna use my willpower to fight death. I'm a werewolf, bitch. No, I tried to get up. I'm gonna get up. No, I tried to get up. I punched the earth trying to get some feeling in my hands. I gritted my teeth and tried to get up. I collapsed again. I felt so cold. Suddenly there was light. I looked up. The full moon. It looked different. Yeah, it's blood red. It's been like that for like a while now, girl. Oh. Okay. So that went from eco-terrorist to... Oh, shit. Notice how we leveled up our character. Wow. This is, I guess the first 3 chapters are just a bunch of really weird, slow plotting nonsense, and then this game really shoots on all cylinders. Holy crap. Okay. I get up. I feel good. I know what I shouldn't. I know that I shouldn't. Huh. Well, we clearly need to stretch, because we have 0 health. I get up, I feel good, I know that I shouldn't, but I don't remember why. I don't care. So, I stretch. Holy shit. My muscles are sore and cramped, so I stretch like I've never stretched before. My arms are longer. My legs are stronger. My heart is pumping, and I feel like I've spent my whole life packed into a box, and I've finally been sent free. I breathe. Rage is definitely important. I take a breath and feel my ribs and muscles move. The forest smells of blood and fear and excitement. I'm happy. I laugh happily, and others' laughter joins me. We laugh and sing to the moon. My mind is clear. My mind is clearer than it's ever been before. I see the world in sharp contrasts of black and white, movement and stillness. I smell prey, hear language in the hooting of the wolves, the whistling of the winds and the snarling of wolves. I am what I was born to be. Something stings me. There's a small, malformed creature pointing a stick at me. The stick blazes with fire, and there's another sting. The creature is no threat to me, but its presence is annoying. Its smell almost sends me reeling, and I don't like being pricked. I gotta take a picture of this. This game has art. How do I feel about Corn roster? I mean, every one of these games I feel like has to have, like, sword and board, cav and infantry, like, that type of stuff. It's like, it looks like a real traditional thing. I'm gonna rip its head off. I'm gonna rip its head off. A stick with hands, push it away. I'm gonna rip its head off. I just realized that. I thought it said hands? I'm gonna rip its head off. How do I not rip its head off? What? I think the Corn roster looks like exactly what we thought it would be. I think that that's totally fine. I think that my guess is that I want to know what Snizzich looks like. I really need to know what Slaanesh looks like. I think that those will be the magic-focused ones. It's the most... It's like they took Warriors of Chaos but added, like, flavor. I'm gonna rip its head off. I reached out lazily and rip its head off, its shoulders. Blood blooms from its neck like a beautiful flower. I throw the head toward the moon. My ears prick, and I hear more creatures running blindly through the bushes. I feel better. My leg no longer stings. I feel better than before. I'm gonna get excited. Yeah, Slaanesh and, Slaanesh definitely, like, I guess they're gonna be, like, the weird psionic debuffing faction. And debuffing magic is definitely special, but wouldn't it be cool if, like, wouldn't it be cool if you could capture units, and then whichever units you capture, you, like, corrupt it into different, like, chaos monsters, and then based off of what you capture. So imagine, if you would, there's two ways they can go about it. They can use some sort of mind hypnotism or mind control mechanic, or they can do what I think they're going to do. They're going to bring back the whole capturing defeated armies mechanic from the Total War games of the past, where you just capture units after you run them off the map, or you've basically broken everyone. And depending on which enemies you capture, whether they're Bretonnian knights or vampire skelly spams, you then put them into like some sort of workshop, kind of like Throt, and then you like corrupt them and turn them into like different types of chaos monsters. And yeah, you're right. Like, Nurgle's just gonna be like a Skaven Lord. He's gonna be like he's gonna be like Lord Skrulk. He's gonna be Lord Skrulk, which is totally fine because I like Lord Skrulk. Let's go with that. I smell prey and I start hunting. They do not see me as I move silently through the undergrowth. The creatures are running away, their backs turned to me. A growl escapes from between my teeth, and one of them turns my way. It challenges me. I attack. Fuck it. Let's go, bitch. Let's go. I don't skip a beat as I lunge at it and close my jaws on its head. The taste is sweet. Piercing light burns my eye. I hear more creatures coming my way. They want to hurt me. Hell no. Let's fight them all at once. Oh yeah, I think that it's definitely going to be a fun time. I think that they have a real opportunity, but hot damn. So, this is something that I've been thinking about. They can't possibly have Kislev and Grand Cathay be the only Order factions in the game. Because you gotta remember, like, the two unannounced factions are going to be Chaos Dwarves and Ogre Kingdoms. So what old or New World factions are gonna be represented in some capacity? Because you can't have just Kislev holding the fort with two legendary lords as everyone converge on them. So, like, is like, are Bretonnia going to declare a crusade to save Kislev? Because that's what they do in the meta. I guess you could, like, if you want, you could kind of maybe toy around with Volkmar the Grim and give him a start there. I don't know. With a roar, I attack them as they slowly stumble, trying to understand what's happening. There are sharp noises, there are sudden flashes, and the air smells of fire and singed hair. Hurts. They hurt me. I bite, and I punch, and I roar. A new smell. I flare my nostrils, and there is a new smell. Something is coming. The creatures? No. Something else. I see them moving among the trees. Suddenly, I'm surrounded by them. I think I know them. They seem familiar. It's like I met them in the past, but they were hidden. They close in on me. What do they want? I defend myself. I defend myself. They won't touch me, I promise myself as I lunge at them with teeth bared. They jump back and laugh with delight, and we start chasing each other among the trees. Run with us, they say. And we run. And we hunt together, and there is joy. There are no words to describe the thrill of being part of a pack, and closing in on your prey and tearing it apart. Then I get lost chasing something only because it's escaping. I am alone in the heart of the forest. I look and see no moon, only clouds and tangled branches. Something changes. Something changed, and I realized how tired I was. I stumbled. Darkness. The night sky was full of stars. I opened my eyes. It is a choice. They made choices in terms of the audio they did put into this game. Confused, I opened my eyes. The forest around me was thick and dark. The tree trunks, wrapped tightly in dark leaf ivy, were covered in ripples of lichen where the vines hadn't taken hold. The thorny, leafless bushes at their base were overrun with nettles. The fungi radiated with a ghoulish, sickly green light. Dark, sponge-like mushrooms clung to the fallen trees. I tried to breathe. I tried to breathe. I tried to breathe. I took a deep breath and winced. There was a foul smell in the air. Suddenly I realized it wasn't the forest that smelled so foul, it was me. I looked down and saw my hands covered in a dark substance. I was naked. A sticky, glistening film of liquid was clinging to my skin. I could feel it on my face, my hair, blood. Someone had... I'm gonna sneeze again. I always sneeze twice. I always sneeze twice. You know, when I go out partying and I'm covered in blood and there's weird pagan symbols on my naked body, that's a good sign that I was not hanging out with the right crew. Someone had drawn strange symbols on my skin in the drying blood. Was it me? I remembered my dream and slowly lifted my eyes. Dead bodies were strewn around. There was a severed head right in front of me. Yeah, I'm gonna say I felt sick. I felt sick. I felt sick. Oh, wow, they just totally put that... Man, you know what? This game has art. This game has art. It's got art. I felt sick. I want to get that extra rage. The face was contorted, the eyes bulging, the mouth open, the tongue stuck out. It was obscene. I doubled over, retching. I recognized that face. Oh God, I recognized that face. It was Anya, her braids covered with dried blood. Uh-oh! Guys, we bit off the head of our best friend. Well. Anya's dead. Yeah, dude. Holy shit. We don't have anyone other than Olga now loyal to us, but whoops-a-daisy, that's a boo-boo. No, I let out a long, blood-curdling scream. The night swallowed it. Cornell is friendly. The bushes rustled, and a moment later I saw Cornell coming out from the trees. He looked at me. At the head, at my face, he come closer and squatted beside me. This is what we were trying to tell you, his gray eyes smiled. See? You're a werewolf. I looked at him. I blanked. So how are you feeling about this? I'm starting to really understand the slow burn on this a little bit more. And I think I'm coming around to the art style of this game. It's so bizarre, I think I like it. I also appreciate how much better this game surfaces how the World of Darkness does skill checks. Like, actually having this interface here and surfacing this stuff, and the way that it, like, shows this type of shit, and this type of shit. Like, the way that it actually, even though it appears right from the onset as having, like, far less transparency or usability, it actually has more usability. It is more transparent than the Vampire the Masquerade visual novels. And boy, I kind of like it, but also, boy, man, what was it? We played this game for 2.5 hours and didn't get anything? I don't understand why we had to go through 3 chapters of, like, exposition. You could have cut out, like, the entire second and third chapters and put in more stuff like this. Why? Ugh. This game is poorly paced, and it's only, like, 8 hours. Everything faded to black. Lost in the woods. What do you guys think? Arbitrary, you watched the first episode of this. How do you feel about this? I think I like the art style. I think I like this. I think the art style of this game is super abstracted, but kind of great when it pays off. But man, I'm way more into this. Like, look at this! Look at this, like, psychedelic stuff. Dude! This is great! And, like, the way that it's using this really discordant soundtrack to, like, fuck with my ears, this is also great. I really respect what they're going for. And I can understand why someone wouldn't like the art style, because... And also, like I said, I think as someone who plays the World of Darkness games, tabletop games, like, boy, I wish I only had to worry about 3 different types of resources when doing skill checks. Instead, you have to worry about, like, 20. The morning smelled of the forest, fur, and strangers. I slowly opened my eyes. The warm space under the low-hanging branches of an old spruce tree was full of other people sleeping. Their muzzles rested on their paws. Oh, we just full on going. We're full on going. I went outside. Stepping over the sleeping forms, I made my way outside. Alone, hiding in the tall grass, I sniffed around. The sky was bright, and the forest around me was dark and full of interesting smells. High in the trees, birds yelled about statuses, sex, and violence. So now we can understand what birds are saying. That's not gonna... I wanted my memories to come back. I'm not gonna overrage myself. Something opened in my mind and memories started flooding back. One of the consequences of having full rage is that you always get the high status. Creatures stirred in bushes nearby. A tall, dark silhouette. A strange, familiar smell. I tensed up. I tensed up and watched the human as they looked around. Maya, there you are, they said when they noticed me. It was time to get out of there. I spasmed. Suddenly, a feeling like a cramp or a spasm surged through me, and everything changed. I was Hound, the human form. My bard had started resetting itself into the familiar shape, and it hurt. Bones broke and fused again, muscles and sinews moved under my skin. I cried and thrashed, then panting and sweaty, I was hominid again. I hit the ground with my bare ass, colors exploded, the morning breeze suddenly became cold, and I shivered. I looked up. Confused, I looked at the person approaching me. Cornell is friendly. You look cold, Cornell smirked, and threw me a bundle of clothes. You'd better not change for a while. They won't survive it. Not until you learn the right, at least. I took the bundle. I snatched the bundle and started pulling the clothes on. Sneakers, loose-fitting jeans, a hoodie, and a hoodie with a unicorn. They fit perfectly. I thought about the previous night. I thought about the previous night when I was raging through the forest, about how differently I experienced the world through the wolf's sentences, and about the discomfort and confusion of changing shape. So, I was a werewolf. Don't say! You don't say. You don't say. There was no denying it. I was no longer human. I want the full story. I want the full story. You're gonna give it to me, and you're gonna give it to me now. Tell me everything, I demanded. It seems I've missed a lot about my life. Don't worry. There are plenty of stories to tell. We just stood there for a moment, tense and silent. I was wondering how one usually learned that they were a werewolf. I bet he's gonna rebuff me for this, so I think I'll go with this. Also, we already have willpower, so why not this one? Let's go the third way. Let's go the Democrat way. It doesn't make any sense. It suddenly struck me. How come nobody knows werewolves exist? We protect the veil. Actually, having the words just provide their definitions within the game without me needing to flip back and forth from a codex is so much better. Holy crap, it's so much better. It's easy to convince humans that the supernatural doesn't exist. They already want to believe that, and the delirium helps. That's right, they use the term Garu. Oh, that's such a nerd thing. I forgot that they use the term Garu. Also, the reason why you guys can get away with your shit is because the mages are unfixing your shit. Or unfucking your shit. Like, that's the whole joke with Mage the Ascension, is that the mages are the ones that unfuck up everything that the vampires and the fairies and the mummies and the wraiths and the werewolves are doing. So is that, you know, the trains get in on time. I don't apologize for that Mussolini joke. You mean delirium as in the medical condition, I asked? Remembering something that I had learned about acute confusion states. You'll have to ask Pat for that, but the gist of it is that humans are incapable of remembering that they saw a Krynos. The half-wolf, half-human war form of the Garou. He laughed. They panic, turn away, and instantly forget. Every time. Then I realized something. And then I realized that I had already dedicated my life to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. The wolves had woken. Okay, sure. Cool. Cool. At some point, the rest of the party had awoken and joined us. The clearing was full of wolves. Dude, you don't like this art? Look at this! This is like a poster of a 70s horror film. Now, the funny thing is that, like, the origin stories to anything that you do in the World of Darkness is really important, and depending on, like, no matter what, you can deny and then be brought back, or accept your path and then get in there. Like, this is a huge part of, like, Mage the Ascension, is that depending on how you deal with your awakening, whether you accept it post-haste or you deny it and reject it and need to be reawakened over and over again, basically has a huge influence in terms of, you know, your alignment in the game. I always prefer just accepting it. There are weird debuffs if you deny something. And again, I'm trying to apply tabletop rules to something that is not a tabletop game. Okay, let's accept and cooperate. Art! Okay. This, I admit, is just hokey. This is hokey. This is just, I don't even know what I'm looking at. I don't even know what I'm looking at. The headless body was heavy. That said, they said that, as my first kill, it was my burden. It was my duty to take it to the barrows. It was heavy, in more ways than one. Is this now my avatar on Giant Bomb? A blue chick with, like, fake female naked blue man group. Or wait, no, this is a hoodie with a unicorn on it and some sort of otter? I don't know what the fuck. I'm gonna screen cap this. I gotta make this into an emote. This face. Oh man. It was heavy in more ways than one. You mean to tell me that murdering my best friend might be a metaphor? Oh man, how much Christ symbolism do you think is in this game? Is this my sin to bear? Guilt was eating at me, and I guess it was obvious. You have to balance the death you cause with your achievements. Cornell looked me in the eyes. That is the path of the Garou. Just using Garou is such a nerd fucking thing to do. Ooh, what is that emote? Vitaro Clown. Oh, okay. He accompanied me, carrying the severed head in a bag. The others stayed behind, covering the tracks. I couldn't believe Anya was dead. Yeah, Anya didn't deserve that. She only wanted to help, you know, I said quietly. She was so worried about what's happening here, and it's hard, Cornell admitted, looking at me with sympathy. But we're at war. Death happens. The faster you learn to accept it and honor it, the better the soldier you'll be. Garou Mark of the Werewolves. Oh shit, someone gifted you a sub to Taro? Man. The body was too heavy. I kept dragging the body, but the burden was too much to bear. I was tired. It hurt. I just couldn't do it anymore. I looked at the body, and I really wanted, to say something. But I choked on my words. I curled up into a ball with my arms around the head. I just couldn't. I can't, I said. And then it was the only thing I could say. Louder and louder until it became a shriek. I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't. Cornell sighed and kneeled beside me. You're a werewolf, Gaia's soldier. That's right. Sorry. Gotta hydrate. It is 95 degrees right now, and it is 9 o'clock. It is still too goddamn hot. You're a werewolf, Gaia's soldiers. There's nothing you can't do. Get up. We have a world to save, and you have a legacy to fulfill and a debt to pay. He was right. Took a deep breath. He was right. I was here for a reason, and I had things to do. I'm gonna say I changed. I changed. Oh! Holy shit! I can shapeshift! What the fuck? Oh shit. This is cool. So I have to basically assess the mission and pick the correct wolf shape. Well, okay, so what do we know? We're carrying a dead body and a severed head, and we've been complaining about the weight. So that means that these ones where we're on all fours are going to be completely useless. So it's between this Krynos and the Glabro. Yeah, you can turn into thick human. I'm going to say we're not in war form because then we're just going to go berserk, right? And we don't want to be a killing machine. So let's go Glabro. Glabro. Lift heavy things without breaking a sweat and intimidate. Yeah, absolutely. This is exactly what I want to be right now, right? Okay, 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 okay. This is art. This is art. This is art. The pain was stronger than I'd ever imagined. I felt my muscles spasm as they rearranged themselves. My jaw cracked, my mouth filled with blood. I clenched my fists and claws drove into my palms. I screamed. When I rose, panting and sweaty, I was more than human. I was glabro, wolfish, strong, scary. The change hurt more than I expected. The world shifted, not much, but enough. I felt my teeth get sharper, and my muscles stronger. I picked up the body. It was a lot lighter. We went on, but we weren't alone. I realized there were two shapes in the bushes on either side of the road. One bigger and dark gray, the other small and white. Ah, my companion smiled. I see you've noticed our patrons. I remembered them from my dream. I guess? I don't really remember all that. I was just kind of getting over the fact that, you know, we killed someone. I remembered them from my dream. Sure. Yeah, we know each other, I said. I remembered my dream. Remembering my dream, we sort of met the other night. The two animals stopped in front of me in the middle of the path. We came here to teach the cubs, said the wolf. She smelled of ash and tears. Was I hallucinating? Okay, let's just, like, let's assess how thick our character is. We are a werewolf, and we're surprised we can talk to animals. Like, that's the line that you're not willing, that this character is not willing to cross. It's like, she's surprised we can talk to animals. I couldn't believe what I saw. It made no sense. I felt as if my brain was short-circuiting, trying to interpret signals not meant for human senses. Was there really a wolf? I always told me that there was a wolf staring at me, but when I looked at it, I felt ash on my tongue. I heard a mourning howl. So deep it reverberated in my bones, and I smelled fire. And when it talked, it was like the rustling of leaves formed words in my mouth. They wouldn't leave me alone. But hallucinations or not, they just wouldn't leave me alone. The weasel circled me, and before I knew it, I could feel small claws on my leg, then on my neck, and then on my arm. I smelled of musk and electricity, and then it bit my ear. So we going full Mulan now. You got Mushu, and you can talk to animals. This is some Pocahontas Disney shit. I'm gonna say ignore it. I want a weasel. Can I have a weasel friend? Muskrat love. Do they always do that, I asked, ignoring the spirit? Speak to me when I'm biting you. The weasel's electronic voice echoed in my head. Enough, the wolf growled. Or at least that was what my brain decided to hear. I felt the weasel draw its breath. In the beginning, there was Gaia, aka Mother Earth. Oh wow, we're going back to the creation of the Earth. We're going all the way back, I see. We're going to BC times. Okay, I got you. I got you, game. Okay, in the beginning, there was Gaia. In the beginning, there was Gaia, aka Mother Earth, and she gave birth to a mighty breed of warriors. The weasel began. It sounded electronical. I think you would just say electronic. It sounded electronic, like a teenager reading a Wikipedia page over a voice chat. They were called Gaia. That's werewolves in werewolf fish, and their sole purpose was to protect Gaia. Oh, I see. He's like some sort of like weird embellishment speak person. Okay. They failed, wailed the wolf. I don't want anything to do with this goddamn weasel. There was danger everywhere, shrugged the wolf when I looked to her for advice. When time began, Gaia released 3 primeval forces upon the earth. The Weaver, the Willed, and the Worm. The weasel continued. The Wild was the untamed force of life and creation. The cold, ruthless Weaver gave structure to the world, and the Worm destroyed what needed to be destroyed, creating balance. This is like... I was never a Werewolf the Apocalypse person. This is oddly Judeo-Christian, isn't it? Like, the idea of, like, King of Worms. Gaia. This is, I feel like I'm playing Xenosaga. Okay, I think we are creatures of the wild. We're order, right? We're trying to bring order. No, that would be the Weaver. Okay. So, were werewolves creatures of the wild, I asked? An untamed force of life? They were Gaia's children, the wolf snarled, born to herd and contain humans. So what went wrong? Weave me a tale, O wizened wolf. I can see that something went wrong, I smiled wryly. The weaver grew too ambitious and trapped the worm within its lifeless web. The weasel answered. Confined and denied, the worm went slowly insane. The wolf wailed. Now Gaia is dying, choked by the weaver and eaten alive by the worm, wailed the wolf. Are you sure that's not just global warming? I mean, if freeing the god of death from the god of time's machinations was how we could save this planet, hot damn, sign me up. Sign me the fuck up now. Now Gaia is dying, choked by the weaver and eaten alive by the worm, wailed the wolf. And the wild is not the one you should fight, she snarled. You were born to protect it. Then it turned and led the way. It took us to the barrows. It didn't look much different than the other parts of the forest until you noticed the mounds, that is. There was something about the flattened hills that drew my full attention. I could remember... A memory stirred in my mind. No, it wasn't a memory. It was a feeling anchored in my chest, akin to the taste of ash in my mouth, and the smell of smoke. Longing, sadness, resignation. But there was more. A sense of scaredness. It filled me with a calm excitement, and when I closed my eyes, I saw a fire burning in the darkness. Cornell kneeled near one of the mounds, put his hand on it, and whispered a few words. I saw the ground open slightly, like a mouth in the earth. I sighed, let's do this. We put the body in the hole. It rubs the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the wash again. We took the severed head and the body I'd wrapped up in sheets and put them in the hole. Closed slowly, and I could swear I heard the trees nearby sigh in anticipation. The wolf howled. I could feel the hair on my hands rise. Welcome to your new life, the talking white weasel grinned. We have something else to show you. I ran with them? I don't need willpower. I just need answers. Give me some more psychedelic. What is this? What is this? What? What is this? What is this art? It's a wolf head put on a dude with a six-pack. What? Also, I'm probably gonna guess we don't want to go to town because we're still globophorn, right? Like, you're okay. We should read this. 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 We should read this and understand the context. Okay. Vision quest. That just makes it worse. It sounds like we're playing a board game. You're a cub, so you have special privileges, said the weasel. Puzka will grant you a vision. You must see to understand, said the wolf. Think carefully before you choose what to see. What is that? Dude, is that fucking... That's Evangelion, but with a skull face! I have to pick... Even though this looks like Evangelion, I have to pick Wolf with the six-pack, right? I have to pick Wolf with the six-pack. I'm gonna pick Wolf with the six-pack. Ah, cool. It was hard to find the barrows, although I knew where they were. When I looked behind me, the path had disappeared. Puzka is neutral. The forest was bigger than I imagined, not easy to navigate. Dead trees blocked the paths trodden by animals. The dense undergrowth made it impossible to walk in a straight line, and soon I was lost. But I pushed on. No, I don't want to fucking transform. I pushed on. Yeah, willpower. I'll use willpower. Determined, I pushed on. Since the change, I had become acutely aware of how my body worked, and I remembered what humans were good at: running. Stubborn, relentless, long-distance running. Not as fast as a deer, not as nimble as a wolf, but steady and without rest. So I ran. Then I was there. And then I was there. The barrows. I climbed the nearest hill. When I was at the top, I stumbled on something. A shape in the grass. A skull watching me from its bleached eye sockets. I touched it. Well, there's your problem. You decided to touch a bleached white skull just sitting in a fucking spike with it. There's your mistake. There you done goofed. Well, holy shit, this is the best. 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 I regret nothing. I regret nothing. Video games are hard, guys. Look. Video games are hard. They are hard to make. They are difficult. Video games are tough. Making video games is hard. Okay. So. Okay. Okay, so, Freud would have a field day with this. God, what do I say here? I've completely, the buried past. There is a swirl. It starts deep within me, and then it expands. Everything is in motion, and there is no center anymore. No, this is the center of your universe right here. This is the center of your universe. Just come to terms with it. Come to terms with it. Yeah, let's check out the village. Let's see what else people look like here. Sure, let's see a village. There is a village in the forest, and there is the howl of a wolf. People stop and look around, frightened. The howl is like a keen. The houses are mere huts. There is almost nothing that protects the people from the forest. Their clothes are rags. Their feet are bare. Their hair and long beards are unkempt. There are wolf cubs. There are wolf cubs, then there is blood. Then the howling begins, the mournful, blood-curdling keen of a mother who has lost her children. Watch, whispers the voice in my head. Watch and remember. But I cannot just stand by and watch. I want to act. I howl a song about the cubs, their hopes, and their senseless death. The forest listens to me. The forest wakes up, erupts with rage, and powerful furred bodies surge through the trees toward the village. The humans try to escape. They scream and beg for mercy. They try to protect themselves with fire. I take the fire from their hands. The Garou rise up, their talons red with blood, their eyes glazed with fury, and the fire is yanked from the hands of the villagers. I burn their houses. Oh, so we commit war crimes. The houses start to burn. I make the wolf mother happy. The keening turns into a howl of joy. I am there from the beginning. Okay. The Garou have my eyes, my face. They are my family. I am the blood of their blood. I am part of the story from the very beginning, and I do it again. And then it happens again. The humans return. They rebuild the village, this time stronger and better protected. The keening begins once more. Then the Garou come down on them like wolves on the fold. And again, new villages, new fires, more blood. I think that the point is that I have to stop this cycle. Okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. But the keening begins again. My heart fills with grief and rage and villages burn, until one day there is only one Garu left in the family, and he slays his own kindred in the until one day there is only one Garu left in the family, and he slays his own kindred in the fit of his first rage. He never forgives himself. He escapes across the ocean. He serves in an army. He burns villages in Vietnam and Afghanistan, but it just feels different. He never forgives himself. Oh, it's my dad. He tells his granddaughter stories about the forest, but he never goes back. I stay there, and I watch, but I can't move. My throat burns, my stomach is in knots. I want to scream, but I have no mouth, and I must breathe. I feel the fire, I smell the blood. I see the large ash-gray wolf looking straight at me. Her eyes are golden. She weeps. "It is in your blood," she says to me. "It is your duty. It is you. Come with me, child. Be my fangs and claws. There is no one else to be my cub. Come to me, child. I will nurse you, and I will lick your wounds. We will kill together. We will feast, and we will be merry. The forest will grow." I look at her, and perhaps for the first time, I saw her for who she was. Her pelt was marred with fire. Her eyes were smoking embers. Ash was falling from her heaving flanks. She looked old, ancient, seething with anger. She was mourning incarnated. She was the very idea of mourning made flesh, driven by a feeling of loss so profound that it burned everything in its wake. But she was more than that. She was more than one wolf. She was more than one wolf, but a combined memory of all wolves who had lost their cubs, their kin, their brothers and sisters since humans came to the Puzka. At least that was what I thought when I looked at her. The wolf mother looked back at me, and something in her eyes made me realize that she was following my family for generations, advising them, whispering in their ears. "Join me," she pleaded. "Only you can understand me. Only you." Well, fuck yeah, we're gonna be a werewolf. Protecting the environment, burning down homes. And then looking at our werewolf heartthrob dude. Heartthrob dude. I went to her, and she accepted me. And I accepted myself. And I finally understood who I was. Darkness fell again, and a bloody tide was loosened upon the world. Darkness. Dude. This is a lot. A lone howl pierced the silence like a single ray of moonlight in the darkness. Then there was another one, and then another one, and then another one. A choir of voices, triumphant and joyful. I opened my eyes. When I opened my eyes, I was in a clearing around me. There were wolves, huge, monstrous wolves, howling at the moon. I joined them. I was Hispo, the monstrous wolf form. The pain was overwhelming. My spine cracked and twisted. My neck and ankles broke, and I fell on the ground. My jaw shattered and rearranged itself. My whole skin was on fire, rippling and sprouting flesh. I howled in agony. When I rose, panting and spitting blood, I was Hispo, with strong paws, mighty jaws, and a mane of fur. More than a wolf, scary and monstrous. Instinctively, I changed and joined the choir. My voice was unsteady at first, but soon I found my own note, a unique addition to the chorus. Well, hello there, Cornell. Well, hello there, Cornell smiled at me, and welcome to the Sept. I just listened. I just listened. Let's go with I just listened. I realized that my survival depended on learning very quickly, so I just nodded and listened. For a werewolf, the pack is family, Cornell explained, and an alliance of packs united in a common goal is a sept. So there were two packs there. I realized that there must be at least 2 packs there. I looked at Daniel. Hi, Maya, said one of the wolves, changing into Daniel. He looked more real as a wolf, confident and relaxed. Olga and Lisa also stood up, human-looking again, their clothes rumpled. We are the pack of the mourning wolf mother, said Olga. They smelled of ash and tears, and for a moment I saw the wolf spirit among them. I looked at Cornell. A gray-eyed wolf changed into Cornell, and soon Pat and Kim joined him. We are the winter weasel pack, said Kim. A white shadow settled on Pat's shoulder. I smelled musk and electricity. We are all Gaia soldiers, said Cornell, in that we have no choice, but we can choose whom we fight alongside. I'm gonna... what were we fight? What are we fighting for? What are we fighting for, I asked. We fight to save our Mother Earth, Daniel wailed. She's sick, dying. You don't say. And we are the last beacon of hope against the darkness and corruption that is the worm, Kim said. The last word reeked of decay and burning oil. Do I have to join a pack? Do I have to choose a pack, I asked, just to make sure? No, Guru can survive on their own, Cornell said with sympathy. Your old human life is over, but we will never abandon you. See, that's the cool thing about Mage, is, like, you gotta find a way to, like, remain a part of regular human society and have your cool magical life. I have so many questions. I have so many questions. I shook my head. Yeah, what's the deal with the moon? It turns blood red and bad shit happens. Why did I hear the moon whispering to me, I asked? Luna gave us rage. That is why she's important, Olga said. And that is why you'll never be able to touch silver again. Ah, right. This franchise doubles down on silver bullets are bad. Was every sept this diverse? You are all from... We're from all over Europe. Is this like a standard sept? I looked at Cornell. Cornell, add some... It's far from standard, but desperate times make strange bedfellows, he smiled sadly. Normally a sept is dominated by one tribe, maybe two. There are at least a dozen tribes, Daniel interrupted, and I hope, Maya, that you will choose yours wisely. How does this spirit animal shit work? What about the spirits, I asked? How does that work? The world casts a shadow, and we call it the Umbra, said Lisa. And in the shadow, every living creature, every emotion and idea, every important object exists as a spirit. That's all you need to know at the moment. I have a feeling that the furry community really likes this game. And it's not just because you're a werewolf, it's like, this has weird abstract art. This has spirit animals. It has strong overt themes of environmentalism, protecting Gaia. It's got all of the right terminology. It uses nerdcore shit like Garu and Gaia, Umbra. I have a feeling furries might like this game. So if I got this all right, I've been conscripted into an ancient war against the worm, I said slowly, trying to put it all together. And the moon gave me rage as a weapon, but I must avoid silver. Yep. Let's take this one step at a time. I like your approach of this. I took a breath. And there's a whole secret world of spirits. And I have to join a pack and choose a tribe. Exactly, Lisa nodded. As for the tribe, there are two people who could mentor you now. Olga is from the Black Furies. I read that as Black Furries. I read that as Black Furries! An ancient tribe of woman warriors, and Cornell is from the children of Gaia. And he's more a peaceful and harmony guy. What about my father's tribe? Oh, shit. Hey, what about my family's tribe, I asked. Lisa winced. Daniel sighed. Olga shook her head. Sorry to put a turd in the punch bowl. What was the matter? What's the matter, I asked again. Your ancestors were the Get of Fenris, and no one here wants to have anything to do with that tribe, Cornell answered. They stand against everything we believe in. Oh, shit. I'm gonna look this up. Of Fenris. The Get of Fenris are one of the tribes found in Werewolf the Apocalypse. Fierce warriors with little room for mercy and compassion. Fenrir viewed themselves as great heroes, but have been known to shock other Garu with their violent ways. All right. Is that wolf son? Are these the Egyptian werewolves? I think these might be the Egyptian werewolves. No, these are the Norse Viking werewolves. Okay. 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 My grandpa had nothing to do with that. Did you ever wonder why? Oh, they're werewolf supremacists. Oh, okay, yeah, they support the Ragnarok. Yeah, that's a problem. Geta Fenris are the most radical Garo supremacists that ever marred the face of Earth, Kim scoffed. Like legit fascist werewolves. Some of them literally worked for Hitler. That's right! That's right! This game is based off of pre-5th edition. Oh, right. This game is based off of the source book before Paradox took control of the situation. So the Nazi shit hadn't been censored out of the franchise. Boy, that's, man. I had a right to know my legacy. I had the right to know my legacy. I have a right to know what my past was. You can judge me all you want. I came here to fucking know who my family was about. You can judge me for all you want. I came here to know my past, and you gave me exactly that. Thank you for telling me, I said. I had a right to learn where I came from. For a moment, we are silent. Yeah, I'm gonna say that with a little bit of resentment. Fuck you guys. I have a right to know my past. It's like, oh, you... I have a right to correct it. I got a right to do the sun werewolf god in the sky a solid. I get you. I hear you. But I have a right to know, you know, that maybe my family was up to no good, doing some bad shit. I'm gonna pick this one because it seems like the dipshit answer. There were a lot of werewolves. There are a lot of werewolves. There's a lot of werewolves. One thing is bugging me. Why are there so many of you? Suddenly everyone in this Polish town is a werewolf, or what? You know, nothing, cub. Olga laughed bitterly. A mere century ago, there were dozens of packs in these forests. But none of the old guards survived the 90s, Lisa shook her head. We had to start from scratch. Until you showed up. There were only 6 of us. And 3 of us, not even local, Cornell pointed out. 2 packs too small for their own good. I like this postmodern Philip Glass score. I really do like it. I wanted to learn more about the tribes and find an option that would really resonate with who I was. You know what? I'm gonna do something really, really controversial here. I'm gonna say I don't want to talk. And hear me out here. I think I want to be my family's tribe. I didn't want to talk. Also, I don't want to deal with the amount of lecturing that this game has subjected to me so far. But I was too exhausted to bug them with personal questions. Anyway, before you're admitted to a tribe, you need to prove yourself. What the fuck? Prove myself? You guys are literally talking about how there aren't enough of you. Yeah, and exactly. Hadn't I proven myself enough? I bit a dude's head off. You went through your first change, Pat said. She was leaning on a tree nearby, and you know everything you need to know at the moment. But you have to go through the rite of passage. Daniel rubbed against my flank. A vision quest. Kim winked at me. And since we don't have time for tests, we need you to solve a real problem, Olga stepped in. Namely, we want you to find a way of ending this logging problem, Cornell said gently. So, how do you like it? They all looked at me in anticipation. I took my time. Enjoying the moment. My body was buzzing with energy, ready to shift shape on the slightest sign of danger. My mind was clear. I knew what to do. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I'm going to take the middle ground. We need to talk about our cause, I decided. That's the way to gain political and financial support. Olga had another idea. I still think we should just burn those fuckers to the ground, grumbled Olga. Cornell had another idea. Something is rotten in the town, Cornell commented. I think that we should find and neutralize local forces that support the logging. Oh shit, you want to just fucking technology this shit. Stream this shit? What? Right, I'm a bard. Right. I'm a bard, that's right. That's right! I forgot we put all of our points into... I'm a dipshit. I'm a total dipshit. Oh boy, that's right! I put all of my skill points into charisma and nothing else. I'm a dum-dum. Yeah, boy, I did a dumb. I mean, I'm playing a bard. I decided to put everything into charisma. Okay. How did he know? How do you know I'm a bard? Did you notice that I put all my points into charisma? Mom always told me that when she gave birth to me, the gibbous moon was shining through the window, giving her comfort. Yep. Oh, wait. Shit. It just wiped out all of my levels. It just completely wiped out my character sheet. That's kind of cool, I guess. But it's also kind of fucked up. Sure, fine. You're right, I nodded. How did you know? Garou born under the gibbous moon are storytellers and lore keepers, just like you and Daniel and me. It is a path of glory and wisdom, added Lisa. Your place in the werewolf society will be determined by your renown. You can learn glory through defeating mighty enemies and succeeding at dangerous quests. You can earn honor by following your moral imperative and upholding the laws of the Garou. You can earn wisdom by acting efficiently and thinking well before you act. Your renown will change as you play, contributing to Maya's legend among the Garou. No pressure at all. Olga must have sensed my confusion. Come on, we have a lot to discuss. She patted my shoulder, and we have to find your phone and wallet. So I followed her. I nodded and followed her. I had to tie up loose ends in my old life. I am sitting on a bus. The sun streaming through the windows is making it hard to see. The narrow road cuts through the dense old forest. My mind wanders. I remember doing something important, walking among the trees, looking for something, losing something I loved, gaining something unwanted. But then I'm fully awake and the memories scatter away. You're almost there, says Anya. I did some searching, she looks at me from over her phone, and this place is amazing. The last primordial forest in Europe. She's alive. I laughed. Anya, you're here. Oh, shit. You wouldn't believe I was not able to finish. I start to cough. I try to stop. Oh, she's a wraith. My throat is sore. My lungs hurt. Now here's the weird visuals I was wanting. These are the types of crazy visuals that I want. Go full bonkers crazy town. Anya, I need help. Anya, I turn to her. Anya is dead. She is sitting there in ripped, muddied clothes, her neck a gaping wound, seeping black blood. What's wrong? A raspy voice comes from the floor. I look down. Her severed head is under the seat, rolling back and forth as the bus speeds up. I feel something dry and acrid in my mouth, and then it starts to move. Spiders! Sure. Spiders come out of my mouth as I talk to a severed head. Sure. Oh, this is great. I spit out and see thousands of small spiders leaving my mouth. Threads of silk cover me, the seat, and everything around us. I try to get out. I trash at the window, but a few seconds later, I am bound in a cobweb cocoon. There's a hiss. I hear a hiss. Then slowly a long, dark, thin shape comes out of Anya's ripped neck. A black snake that reeks of rotten meat, acid, and oil. Don't fight, Maya. You're already mine. Just like your grandpa. And then it kisses me. Art and spiders. All right, that was a lot. That was a lot. That was a lot. I think I'm gonna call it. Oh shit, we're 75% done. So that means that, like, this playthrough is only gonna be about 6 to 7 hours long. Okay, sure, fine. I bet there are longer playthroughs. It does seem like... So here's the big problem. I can see the appeal of playing this game more than once, like being a warrior and like being aggressive to everyone. I do not want to replay the first 2 chapters of this ever again. I don't want to play this. Yeah, and I have to see how the last couple of chapters of this are. If this is just like some sort of weird exposition device to like give you a sense of character creation. Actually, you know what? I think that would be admirable as like give you a nice idea in terms of how character creation works in Werewolf the Apocalypse. Like, for as much as like I really kind of soured on Coteries of New York, that game is a really good on-ramp for Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition, just because it does so much to front-load vocabulary and make it user-friendly, and then also give you just a hint of what it's like to, like, play a character within, like, multiple different scenarios, and how to do skill checks, and, you know, how to deal with basic fundamentals of the tabletop game, like the hunger. Like, if this whole thing is just like giving you an idea of how character creation works in Werewolf the Apocalypse, that's pretty neat. That's kind of neat. And again, for anyone who's like a D&D or Pathfinder player, you guys don't understand. Character creation is like a 3-session long experience. You know what? Fuck you guys. I'm gonna pull up a character sheet and I'm gonna screen share that shit. Cause fuck you, that's why. So let's actually locate Werewolf the Apocalypse character sheet. Character creation sheet. Okay. Yep, here we go. Ew, what the fuck? No, that's Anniversary Edition. I want 5th Edition. Okay. Okay. This is a fillable character sheet, so... Okay. See if I can get this to work. If I can't, then I'll just call it at this. Okay, here we go. Okay, let me... Oh, nope, that's not good. Can you guys see this? Can you guys see this character sheet? This is also my D&D character sheet. But anyways, so you have to pick your name, what we're doing right now is we're just deciding on our tribe, but you don't realize there's 1, 2, 3, 4 more parts of character creation that this game hasn't even addressed yet. So it's about 2 to 3 sessions just to pick your tribe, and then it's another 1, 2, 3. It takes about a month to create a character in a World of Darkness tabletop game, and that's before you start your first module. Like, we haven't even started a module. It takes about a month to create. I don't know if I can watch those streams. And then even then, like, this stuff, like, they boiled it down to, like, 3 base stats. Those skill checks for just, like, willpower and rage and health, these are your skill checks. You gotta follow all of this. Now, I actually like this system. I like this system because I prefer just like, oh, hey, I used one of my skill checks, so now I have 2 left. And I don't roll. And I hate it when I do. Like, my least favorite thing about D&D of Pathfinder is like, oh, hey, yeah, you're proficient in that. Roll with advantage. And it's like, I rolled a 5 and a 6. Shit, I failed the entire scenario. Here, it's like, I just click it. I click it, and then I just automatically succeed. That's right. There's 3 different health statuses here. You remember when, like, you get into low health, you have to deal with encumbrance in D&D? Everyone's favorite, like, concept that they finally got rid of because it led to unintended death spirals. Remember when, like, once you got to low health, you would, like, be less efficient in combat, and that was shitty? Okay, what else is there? Yeah, rage. The rage system here. Right, so, Arbitrary, you're a guy who likes your Gnostic. What if I told you that there was a Gnosis system here? There's also fetishes. Where are the fetishes? There's fetishes. Fetishes are a part of this system. So what I'm saying is, everyone who complains about, like, Pathfinder 2nd Edition, you guys are soft. I need to find Mage the Ascension character sheets. Leave, please. Fillable character sheets. Okay, can I get a fillable Mage the Ascension character sheet? Okay, yeah, this'll do. That'll do, pick. So... okay, name, nature. So nature is actually how you wake up. So how you wake up, you either reject your ascension or you accept it. Then you need to pick your affiliation, so you pick your tower. Okay? And there are 8, but there's really 7. Then you pick your demeanor, which is basically your alignment. Then you need to pick your sect, and this is actually complicated. So each tower has anywhere between, like, 9 to 12 different permutations, and then that will give you the chronicle and the essence and concept. So if you're like a necromancer, you can be like 3 different permutations of said death magic, and then you actually fill in your attributes, and then your attributes influence how many skill checks you get here. So let's say that we level up with charisma. So like something that's like alertness would have like multiple ones here. And then you'd be able to do that. And then your ability to use magic is your spheres. So right here. And then mage always liked the idea that the lower your health is, the harder it is to perform combat. And then we need to talk about your quintessence, which is the number of times that you successfully complete a paradox. And that will give you advantages to your willpower and your art. And there's 3 more pages. So we have your merits and flaws, your magic sheet. If you like Thaka, we're not going to talk about this, but you actually need to calculate range and rate for magic. So imagine if we're playing Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, and you actually need to have a ruler and calculate the range as if you're playing Warhammer tabletop. Okay, so we're not going to talk about that part again. That only really matters for the techno mages that use guns. You actually need to fill this shit out. Yep. You got your familiar. Now, you might be saying, hey, ZP, a familiar and a grimoire is basically the same thing. To which I say, ha, you dipshit. This is fucking bananas that they haven't. And I keep saying, like, Paradox has rebooted Werewolf. And, Vampire, they need to reboot. This needs to be easier. Because the story, oh my god, the world building of Mage is so good. It's so good! It's really good, guys. The World of Darkness is really good. All you're doing is continuing to convince me to never run or play a World of Darkness tabletop games. They're really good, like, storytelling mechanisms, but, like, even Vampire has never been fun to play. But in terms of, like, actually forcing the player to engage in role-playing, like, there's no way for you to play a World of Darkness game without engaging in role-playing, and that's the reason why I've enjoyed them. That's why I enjoy them, is because in, like, D&D, you really can just say fuck all to the RPing part of it and just treat it like a very literal combat-only thing. And then, of course, you know, those people are crazy. They should just play Pathfinder. Because that's the whole point of Pathfinder. But, like, what if you moved it further towards the RPing spectrum? That's the World of Darkness stuff. It's like they made the game to be deliberately obtuse and not fun for you to do combat to such a degree that you almost want to never engage in combat and just RP your way out of it. Skill check yourself out of bad situations. But anyways, I think I've rambled enough. I'm gonna finish this thing. It seems like we have a couple more chapters. I will probably play Grandia 2 at some point tomorrow, unless we want to do that Warhammer idea tomorrow. But we'll hash that out. We'll figure that out. Yeah. Anyways, that'll be it for me. This went a little bit later than I wanted to. I know I originally said I would only go an hour and a half, but that was a thing. I'm going to publish that Vampire the Masquerade blog tomorrow. I've been meaning to do that. All right, everybody. Peace.